Alright, what's up guys, it's Mitch or DD back with a new video, and today we're going to be talking about Rajang. So with Rajang coming, he's supposed to be here on October 10th. So that's in like 9 to 10 days from when I'm recording this. So why not start getting prep for him now? So if you are newer to Monster Hunter, so say you started in Monster Hunter World, you have never experienced Rajang, those veterans that have been playing for a long time, you know Rajang, you know how this is going to be. It's going to be rough no matter what, especially in World with the mobility increases that all the monsters get. It's going to be a very rough fight, especially at first as we're all learning his moves for veterans and new players to him. So with veterans, we do know a bit, and I'm going to share at least the knowledge that I know to try to help you all out. And one thing with this as well is when Rajang drops on the 10th, we are going to immediately be going into trying different stuff on him. Like speedrun things with groups, and if his armor's good, we're going to be trying to see whether or not his armor's good and trying to make sets out of it. So if you are wanting to come in and help with possible speedruns, so say we might do like an all switch axe run, all some kind of bow run, like probably the spread bow, just cheese it once just to get a quick kill, maybe do a cluster run, see how fast, or see how like hard that is to do, since he's just such a mobile monster. And just talk about different stuff. So if you want to join the Discord and help us with that, or just be part of the discussion and see what we come up with, link to that will be down in the description. But we're going to go over the sets that I currently have ready now. So I currently have 2 sets, and Rajang is weakest to ice. So his weakest ice points are his face and his tail. His tail isn't really that weak to it in comparison to his face. His face is going to be the best. But with Rajang, he spins around a lot. So he spins around on some of his moves, he runs away, and he just is an unpredictable monster. So he does a laser beam attack, which you saw at the beginning of the video. He does that laser beam attack, and when he does it, it's hard to tell which person he's going to target with it. So if it'll look like he's not going to target you, and then he'll target you, and you'll end up dying by it. So that was one thing whenever you're playing in groups, you'd always see him go up to do that, and then it was just a random person would die, and it was frustrating, but it was awesome. And also with that, at the beginning of the video, that was a Furious Rajang, which is a variant of Rajang, which is just a crazier, scarier Rajang that is a little bit different. I won't talk about him just in case that only regular Rajang comes, but just know at the beginning of that video, that was Furious Rajang. That's why he was already Super Saiyan the moment I saw him at the start. So, going over these sets, I will do with this one here. Alright, so I'm going to be going over 2 sets today for bow, and the 2 sets are just basically going to be depending on, 1, your playstyle, and 2, going to be what decorations you have. So the first set they're both going to be comprised of 4 Silver Athlos pieces, then 1 is going to use 1 Namiel piece, and 1's going to use a Gruga piece. But I'm going to start with the one using the Gruga Greaves B, and all the rest are going to be Silver Athlos B. So this is going to require MR70 to do, but you have 10 days from right now to get to MR70 and try to get this set completed. So I'm trying to make this video ahead of time so you have time to fully get prepped to get full damage over Rajang. So going into this, with this set, you're going to be having the Rathalos ability. Well, the first one's going to be giving Slinger capacity, which can help if you're going to be using 1,000 Dragons, get a little bit of additional damage with that. But then you're going to be using mainly this, so this greatly increases elemental damage when landing critical hits. So it's a critical hit set, as all bow builds have been in the past that I've made. But this just ended up being more damage overall than Namiel mixed with the regular critical element skill. So that's why we're going with Silver Athlos here instead of the old set that I posted a video of. But the old set was a much easier, it was, I guess, MR 30 to 50 build, or 30 to 69 build, where this is going to require MR 70. So with that, we're going to be using Ice Attack 6, Critical Eye 6, and the Slinger Capacity is going to be at level 4. You can try to put up to level 5 depending on your decorations. But then Crit Boost and Weakness Exploit. One big thing is Stamina Surge. I have it level 2. You could go with Constitution 2, Stamina Surge level 1, but that's just going to be personal preference and depending on what decorations you have. And you're going to want Bow Charge Plus. So, and Fortify is just a skill that I throw on every build, especially playing solo, because if you die, you just come back way stronger. So I'm going to go ahead and show the decorations on this set currently. Actually, I'm on the wrong set. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Switch to the proper set. And now we'll show the decorations. So, with this, I'm going to be running multiple, or 1 Frost Jewel and 1 Expert Jewel. So, this is where it comes into like personal preference. With this is a 3 slot, so, but I just use it as a 2 slot. Same with this 4 slot I use as a 2 slot. But if you have a Tenderizer mixed with another skill jewel, you can throw that here. If you have a, say you have a Constitution, this Constitution Plus, which is 2 levels of Constitution, you can put this here, then put your Tenderizer jewel here. But then it's just going to be a mixture of whatever 4 slot jewels that give you good skills. So with this, I have a Fortify Constitution gem, so that's what I use for this. And then down here, I have Stamina Surge Attack Boost. That's what I use for that. Crit Boost comes with the set. So you don't have to worry about crit boost. You just have to gem in Tenderizer and as much expert as possible. And you're going to be using the Frost Charm level 5. So try to get that Frost Charm finished as well, because that gives you 5 levels of ice. And Rajang is pretty weak to ice, so you should be doing very, very good damage to him with either of the sets I'm going to show you. So that's this set. So the other set is going to go more heavily into like stamina consumption and a little bit less crit boost. So you're going to be trading a level of crit boost in for extra constitution. And this one, I went full constitution, a little bit of stamina surge, which like I said, I could change the other one. Honestly, 2 levels constitution and 1 level stamina surge for the other set probably is better. But I'm kind of in the middle of testing right now. But these both seem to be pretty good overall set. So this one is going to have a little bit more critical eye. It's going to have the same max ice tag. It's going to have extra slinger capacity, so you could get a little bit more damage off your 1,000 dragons if you have like a good wake up chance, or 1,000 dragons is a guaranteed stun on a monster. So honestly, you could probably get some really cool moments with Rajang about to murder you, but you stun him, or not stun him, but flinch him, I guess is a better term to use. But this one also has a Fortify, and I use a Resuscitate, and always use Bow Charge Plus. So I am not really using Spread Shot or Normal Shot anymore on any of my builds, just because it doesn't give as much damage as like it used to be like really important, because there weren't that many other things you can do. But now I feel like they've like really changed stamina consumption, so I'd rather put more like effort into raising like Constitution and Stamina Surge versus trying to fit in the Spread Shot, Power Shot. So if you are further, so I'm currently MR 100 and something, but if you are further in the game and have better decorations, you can build a much better set than this. Well, not much better, but you can get a couple extra skills that other people can't. But say if you're below MR 70, trying to get to MR 70, by the time you get to MR 70 and can get the Silver Athelos, you are going to not have that great of decoration. So you'll probably have decoration very similar to what I'm using here, and that's what I'm trying to do with this video, is get people who aren't grinding insanely hard ready for Rajang. So with this, the only difference is I use the Silver Athelos Legs B versus the Tentacle Coil, and the Tentacle Coil A instead of the Silver Athelos Coil and the Gruga Greaves, which are Gruga Feet. So with this, I use all Expert Charms and Expert +4, and then 1 Frost Jewel. So this overall is giving the Critical Eye 7, Ice Attack 6, as well as those additional skills down below. I feel like this may end up being too much expert. I'm going to check that as we get out of this, but I'll leave this up for a second if you want to pause the video and try to mimic this set. And then get out of this. I'm going to talk about mantles shortly, but I'm going to go into equipment and just make sure I'm not overdoing it. Nope, that's perfectly 7. Okay, so this set is proper. But you can see 40% affinity on this set. The other side, I believe, had 35. It was either 30 or 35. But whenever you're attacking a wound or a weak spot, you're going to be at 70. And if they wound it, you're going to be right at nearly 100. So you'll be getting very, very good damage overall. So that's these sets. And I'm going to get into talking about just some little tips and like things from Rajang in the past. Alright, so now we're going to get into some little tips with Rajang. So one big thing is don't use Dragon Piercer against him. For one, he's a small monster. Dragon Pierce isn't going to do a whole lot of damage. Just keep going with normal and spread shots. So please don't Dragon Pierce. For one, it's not going to do a lot of damage. 2, it makes you immobile. And being immobile against a monster as fast and unpredictable as Rajang, you're going to die a lot and you're just going to hold your team back. So if you're a person who uses bow but Dragon Pierce a lot, try to break that habit, at least for Rajang, but overall it would be good to break anyway. So the second thing is Pitfalls. So with Pitfalls, he's very weird with this. With Pitfalls, if you try to Pitfall him, I'll show an example right here. Say right at the beginning of a quest, then he will break out of it. So if he is if he's not enraged or if he's exhausted, he will just break out of your Pitfalls. But if he's enraged, you can Pitfall him. So normally it'd be, you would think if a monster's enraged, he would break out of the Pitfall, but this is opposite. So only try to use your Pitfalls on him when he's actually enraged. So, but with saying that, shocks work all the time. So shocks are the better trap to use against him, but if you have someone who can slap down a Pitfall real quick while he's enraged, which is dangerous, I think that's part of why they did it, so you would go for the Pitfall trap while he's running around going crazy, and possibly get killed because of it, just to add some kind of element to the fight that I think is really cool. But so that is one thing with Pitfalls. Don't try to Pitfall him right off the bat. Wait for the right moment too. So I went over this already, but the face is what's weakest to bow, and his tail is, I wouldn't say it's weak to it, but it's going to take more elemental damage than the rest of his body. So if he's running away, just try to hit the tail. If he's facing you, obviously go for the face. And you want to focus the face as much as possible because Rajang always has had 2 horn breaks. And the second horn break is usually very hard, but that's where the rare material from him comes from. So be sure to every fight do as much as you can to try to break the face. So going into that, I'm going to talk about Mantle. So the Impact Mantle is going to be very big to bring against him, because if you can get KOs against Rajang, that's going to be more time for your team to get more face damage to try to get those breaks. So definitely try for Impact, but if you're having a lot of trouble fighting him and you need more more survivability, I'm going to be running Impact Temporal, but you could also do Evasion Temporal just to give you some more wiggle room. You could use Vitality, say if you're maybe newer to Monster Hunter, especially Monster Hunter World, and you're not that great with Evasion yet, then you can just go Vitality, and it could help keep you alive as well. So that is what I would suggest for Mantles. And so with he's a monster that in the past he always showed up everywhere, or basically everywhere. So whenever you go to fight him, just know that there's a chance he'll just be in any zone. Honestly, I think they'll put him in every single zone in the game. Maybe not Rotten Vale, but probably Rotten Vale, who knows. But we'll see. And like I said, there was a Furious version. That's what I fought at the beginning of this video. Just to show the example, I fought him to die just to try to get the perfect death of him laser beaming me, and I got it really fast. I'm happy about that. But hopefully we get regular Rajang and then they add Furious together. So we'll fight like the normal Rajang to give us like a taste of him, and it'll be like how Devil Joe was. We fight Devil Joe, and then or Behemoth. A bit better example, I guess, would be Behemoth, since the Extreme Behemoth came out. This would be the Extreme Rajang, but it would just be a normal monster. It wouldn't be I think it would just be a normal monster like Savage Devil Joe in comparison to Devil Joe showing up in all areas. So after that, we're going to be going into items. So like I said, with traps, another reminder, don't Pitfall him when he is not enraged, only Pitfall when he's raging. So bring both traps, bring lots of potions and Dust of Life. So with being a bow, like for this, if you're going to be using a bow, one of the bow builds I showed, Dust of Life is going to be very good just to help keep your team alive, because you'll be the one hopefully taking the least amount of damage while all the blade users are taking more damage. So Dust of Life is going to be very good, and lots of potions. Then obviously if you want to bring flash bombs, probably won't work too well. You might be able to flash him once, but always in the past when you flash Rajang, he was already unpredictable, but this made him double unpredictable, so he was just terrifying. And whenever you flashed him in the past, he would end up just attacking in one direction and keep getting further and further away from everybody, and it makes it basically impossible for the rest of your team who isn't using a ranged weapon to properly fight him. So I wouldn't suggest doing too much flashes. Maybe if you're soloing him, it could give you some extra damage with bow, but overall it probably will end up making the fight harder. And also in the past, Ice Element was needed to cut the tail. He was like really unique in that sense. From what I remember, I'm pretty sure it was Ice that you needed. But I don't know if that'll be in Monster Hunter World, but just that might be something to watch out for. So if you're struggling with the tail cut, maybe it's because that is still in effect and you will need ice to do so. One other thing that I would like to add is be sure to utilize the Clutch Claw. So with the Clutch Claw being added to the game, it is huge to use in so many ways. So 3 different ways. With this, if you're playing with people with heavy weapons, if you are, well, especially if you're in a party with them, but if you are a heavy weapon user just watching this video, be sure to be looking for opportunities to wound the face. By wounding the face, or honestly any body part, but the face is going to be the most important to make sure you get the drops, and could break the face easier. But just make sure heavy weapon users be going for the face, or be trying to tell your friends who use heavy weapons to go for just wounds in general. And then the second thing is be sure to crash him into every wall you can. So when he's not enraged, try to take every opportunity to crash him into a wall, because that does a ton of face damage, and then it knocks him down and gives you a good 8 to 10 seconds of the monster being immobilized, so everyone can just hammer on and do some very good damage to him. And lastly, one thing I'm going to show an example right now is whenever you're using bow, this is for every monster, but be sure to be doing it to Rajang as well. Whenever a monster flinches and does the backdrop and is like staggered, like in the video right here, be sure to Clutch Claw onto the face, because it gives additional stagger time. So if you wait a second and wait till like right before the stagger would end, you'll get good at timing it as you do it more, and this is for every monster. Grapple onto his face and then just do your triangle or Y attack, I guess for Xbox, off of it, just so it'll drop ammo, and then, but it gives additional stagger time for everyone else to deal additional damage. So those are a couple extra tips that I wanted to throw in real quick. So that is all the tips that I have for you today. If you have any other Rajang tips, be sure to comment them down below, or if you have any additional questions, comment them below as well. Biggest thing I can suggest to you is just take your time. When he first comes out, everyone's already been talking about him. Sure, if you've heard anything about him, people have just talked about how crazy he was, but he is a very fun fight. But the biggest thing is take your time, learn his moves, and expect to die. Monster Hunter veterans, you already know what to expect from that. You already know probably how you're going to die a lot. But for new players, just know that you, at first, it's going to take a while for you to get the hang of it. But one last Discord shout out. I am getting close to Discord partner. So if you are willing to hop in there for just anything, hunting with us, working on different set builds with us, just being a part of the community, that would be awesome. And Discord partnership, I don't really get anything from it. Just makes the Discord even cooler. So if you're willing to help me out, that'd be awesome. Or if you're willing to hop in there and join the community, that would be great as well. But it's been Mitch or Deity. Hopefully this video will give you some help for when this monster drops, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.